Nobody warns you about what happens after 35. You're not young enough to ignore reality anymore, but you're not old enough to feel finished either. You wake up one morning and realize your priorities feel different, your patience feels thinner, and the things that once impressed you suddenly feel empty. This isn't a crisis, it's psychology. And today I want to tell you a story, not just theory, about what really changes after 35 and what emotionally healthy people start doing differently when they finally understand themselves. Part 1. The Invisible Shift. There was a man named Daniel. He was 36, living in Manchester, working a stable corporate job. From the outside, everything looked successful. Decent salary, social circle, relationship history, a busy life. But internally, something felt off. He noticed he was getting tired of pretending, tired of conversations that meant nothing, tired of chasing approval from people who didn't actually care. Psychologists call this the identity recalibration phase. Around your mid-30s, your brain starts prioritizing meaning over excitement. You become more aware of time, more protective of energy, and more honest about what truly matters. The problem is, nobody teaches you how to respond to this shift. Part 2. Stop performing for other people. At 35, one of the most powerful things you can do is stop performing a version of yourself designed to be liked. Daniel realized most of his choices were based on approval, career decisions, relationships, even hobbies. He wasn't living intentionally, he was living reactively. Real psychological maturity begins when you ask, am I doing this because it aligns with who I am, or because I'm afraid of disappointing someone? After 35, emotional health isn't about impressing others. It's about reducing internal conflict. The calmest people you meet aren't always the most successful. They're the ones who stopped living for an imaginary audience. Part 3. Start protecting your energy. One of the biggest realizations after 35 is this: time feels faster, and emotional exhaustion feels heavier. Daniel started noticing how drained he felt after certain conversations, negative friends, constant drama, endless complaining. So he made a difficult decision. He didn't cut people off aggressively, he simply reduced access. Psychology shows that after your mid-30s, your tolerance for unnecessary stress naturally decreases. What should you start doing? Choose calm over chaos. Choose meaningful connection over constant social noise. Choose depth over popularity. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It's emotional maturity. At 37, Daniel achieved a major promotion. But instead of feeling proud, he felt strangely empty. Why? Because his definition of success was borrowed, not chosen. After 35, many people realize they've been chasing milestones that don't actually fulfill them. Psychological health requires redefining success through 3 questions. Do I feel peaceful when I wake up? Do my relationships feel honest? Am I proud of how I treat people, including myself? External success without internal alignment leads to quiet burnout. True success after 35 becomes less about proving and more about feeling grounded. One evening, Daniel found himself reacting harshly during an argument. Later, he felt embarrassed, not because he was wrong, but because he realized he still reacted like his younger self. After 35, one of the most important skills to develop is emotional regulation. That means pausing before responding, understanding triggers, recognizing patterns instead of repeating them. Maturity isn't about never feeling anger or fear. It's about responding instead of reacting. Calm people are not emotionless. They are emotionally aware. Daniel's biggest wake-up call came during a routine medical checkup. Nothing catastrophic, just enough warning signs to make him realize that health is no longer optional. After 35, your body stops forgiving neglect as easily. Real psychological maturity includes sleeping properly, moving regularly, and protecting mental health as seriously as physical health. Because after a certain age, you stop feeling invincible and start feeling responsible. By the time Daniel turned 40, his life looked quieter from the outside. Fewer parties, fewer dramatic relationships, fewer attempts to impress strangers. But internally, he felt stronger than ever because he finally understood something simple. After 35, life stops being about becoming someone new and starts being about returning to who you really are. So if you're in your mid-30s or beyond, don't panic if you feel different. You're not losing yourself. You're refining yourself. And sometimes the calmest phase of your life is actually the most powerful one.